Once upon a time, the very privileged lived the way we still do. In quiet luxury, elegance, grace. It's an almost vanished way of life. Not easy to hold on to. And, terribly expensive to maintain.
Good morning, Mr. Fitzwilliam. It's a lovely day.
Thank you, Oliver. I do my best. Miss Woodworth, wherever she is. Good morning, Miss Vicky.
Gentlemen, you're in uniform. Fall in.
I missed you yesterday.
I hate your day off.
Did you enjoy your luncheon at Mrs. Mudge?
No, full woman's on the dirt. Gave me 1 egg and a lettuce leaf.
Well, let's repay evil with good. We'll give her chocolate souffle tonight.
Bless you. She gained a ton. Where are you off to, Fitzwilly? Shopping?
Mm-hmm. Do you want anything, Miss Vicky?
Well, you might pick up 1 or 2 African safari tents when you can.
African safari tents, yes, ma'am.
Yes, so the boys can camp out. It'll toughen them up for the dangers that lie ahead. College, marriage, Wall Street.
Or Altman's during the holiday season.
Right down this aisle. Thank you very much.
Silverware, please.
4th floor, sir. If you mean sterling.
One hardly recognizes anything else. 12 demi-tasse, 12 soup, 12 butter knives, 6 sugar tongs. You got that? Good girl. Charge that to Mrs. G. Duncan Abercrombie, 62 Sutton Place South, and send it today.
Today?
Mm-hmm, for a cookout tomorrow. It's an emergency. Well, you strike me as a type who can handle emergencies.
Don't you worry. You'll go out. You just sign this.
Alistair Hathaway for Mrs. G. D. Abercrombie.
Oddman Shipping. Fred Myers? Yeah, just a minute.
Gosh, I hope Mother hasn't taken a turn for the worse. Fred Myers speaking. Oh, yes, Doctor. Are you at the flat with Mother?
No, dear boy, I am with the phone at Altman's for a chest of silver addressed to a Mrs. Abercrombie. It has. Straight to you? And take it as a sign, Garland, and send it to St. Dismas.
Oh, of course, Doctor. Thank you very much.
Taylor Shipping, Fred Myers speaking. Yes, Doctor. How's Mom? Certainly. I'll pick up the medicine as soon as I can.
Jensen Shipping Room. Fred Myers here. Oh, yes, Doctor. How did you find poor Mama? Good hunting, sir?
Oh, fair bag, I'd say. Silver, antique mirrors, color television set. And now the gourmet, I think, for some goodies. And besides the Chablis, I want 4 cases of champagne. Talange Blanc de Blanc, 1961. Delivered chilled is exactly 3:30 this afternoon. The reception is at 6.
It'll be there. Now that's charge and deliver to Mr. Paul Beckendorfer, 349 West 79th Street.
Beckendorfer? Right. We'll give you a hand.
charge to Uncle Buckmaster, of course. And don't forget to reimburse yourself for the gin rummy game.
I'd rather take the loss, sir, as a punishment for gambling.
Reaped over 900, making a total of a neat, tax-free $6,000.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, but most of that is gone. Plus a bit more. An old check of Miss Woodworth just came through. 10,000 to the Tenzing Mountaineers School in Nepal. That's near Tibet.
She was reading The Conquest of Everest a few months ago.
Bless her heart.
Well, we must remember that if Miss Vicky sails out her front door as though she owned the world, it's because she thinks she still does.
Still, Mr. Fitzwilliam, it would be a comfort if we could build up our reserve to cover things like this.
We can, Simmons. We have an opportunity to make a rather large sum of money immediately. It's outside the door right now, in the pocket of a young interior decorator named, for reasons known only to his mother, Byron Casey.
Oh, isn't that Pat Casey's boy who used to be second footman at old Mrs. Niebuhr's in Philadelphia?
Where my Uncle Buckmaster has been. Now, Byron is eager to turn over the furnishing of the house to us, along with...
Let's do it.
And in that case, let's hear from the man with the problem. Right. Byron Casey. Alongside.
Thank you. Thank you all.
I know you have a plane to catch, so if you'll just give us a list of the furnishings you'll need, exactly. We'll... Oh, carry on. We're getting scarce, like so many things, such as good manners.
Oh, was I rude? I'm sorry.
May I help you, miss?
Well, you could start by letting me in. My name is Juliet Noel. I have an appointment with Miss Woodworth.
By arrangement with whom, in reference to what?
By arrangement with her, in reference to Secretary...
I'm afraid I owe you an apology, Miss...
No.
No. I was supposed to have called you hours ago, but, well, it slipped my mind. You see, Miss Woodworth is very old and rather eccentric, so I'm sure you can understand that while she felt urgently in need of secretarial help yesterday, today she does not.
Funny. When I talked to her at 4 today, she still felt urgently in need. Out of some horrible at Columbia University, where I'm doing graduate work in American history. I have a BA from Smith. I'm a good typist, fair stenographer. And I'd like a part-time job because I want to buy a car and go for rides in the country.
A good statement. Most people tell too much or too little. All right. How do you spell geriatrics?
J-E-R-R-Y.
Spell. I call it inquire within. I list all the ways that... Then if Fitzwilly passes on you, you can start tomorrow.
Fitzwilly. The butler? The butler has to pass on me?
What's the matter? Are you a snob? Fitzwilly passes on everything here. Hires, fires, manages my money, balances my checkbook. The man's an absolute marvel. And see what can be arranged.
Well, certainly,
But you'd like a word with her first. Of course, I'll wait downstairs. I enjoyed meeting you so much, Miss Woodworth.
See you tomorrow.
You must have forgotten. I've already hired you a secretary. She's due next week.
Do you mean Jane Fairchild, the Vanderbilt butler's niece? She's got pink eyelids, like a bunny. Anyway, we could use some fresh ideas around here. Your word?
Excuse me.
Old Stanley Thayer, True Love Woodworth must have left her $10 million, or even $20 million.
Just hotting it up, Professor.
Thank you, Maggie. I'm waiting 10 minutes for that molten lava to cool. I don't want to hurt her feelings. She loves me.
Oh. Seriously, should I take that job?
Dictionary sounds like fun. Miss Woodworth sounds a little loony, but a lamb. All that bothers me is why they're paying you twice the going rate.
Well, it doesn't bother me. If Miss Woodworth is all that rich, why should I care?
No, Julia, the rich don't get rich or stay rich by overpaying, over-tipping, or remembering the doorman's birthday. Anyway, I thought she left arrangements to the sinister butler.
Hey, that's right. And he hates me. Now, why would he over...
When old Mr. Woodworth died, there wasn't a penny.
Are we finished? Enjoy me in a bottle of Chablis. You know my sentiments, Mr. Buckmaster. I'll be starting back now.
Oh, no, you've got to wait a few minutes. Fitzwilly wants you to take back a few things. A typewriter, a Xerox machine, and some other things for the new secretary.
Oh, yes, the Fairchild girl. The one with the pink eyelids.
He hired someone else from outside. So for all this, doesn't make mistakes, huh?
Only God doesn't make mistakes, Mr. Buckmaster.
just beautiful. Now, we'll need some for Jensen's and Lord & Taylor's, along with ID cards for 3 shipping clerks. We should be able to find everything on Byron's list at one of those 3 stores, except possibly the grand piano.
We're going ahead with the... And she was suspicious to begin with.
And that's 2 of us, Charles, and only 1 of her. Now, it shouldn't be too difficult to see that she doesn't get lonesome. Footman. Albert, this is Miss Juliet Knoll, the new secretary.
Hi. Been to a costume ball?
Albert's a retired minister. One might say. It's just that if Miss Vicky wants you, then I want. Miss Knowles here, Miss Vicky.
Hooray! Words like pseudo and psittacosis that starts with a silent P. Idiotic. Why not scenery or science?
Or for Singapore?
Exactly. Things that you wouldn't tell your own mother. And if you did, she would have the common decency not to believe you. Have you ever been to one?
No. Have you?
Yes. Her father went with me and made me leave after 10 minutes. He said it was confusing me.
Was it?
No. He wanted the rest of the hour for himself and a recurring dream he was having about a tribe of Indians on the Amazon boiling him alive and eating him. I'm talking about boiling alive. How do you feel like lobster for lunch? Happy. So do I. Let's have Fitzwilly. Do you like him any better today? You will. You've a lot in common. You're scholarly types, both of you.
Both of us?
I should say so. Fitzwilly graduated summa cum laude from Williams.
Well, then there's no excuse for his being a butler.
Does he need one?
Well, when there's so many wonderful things to do today, like joining the Peace Corps. Now, why would an intelligent man...
Hello, Byron. Are you safely back home?
Yes, Mr. Fitzwilliam, back in the Florida sunshine. No, I'm not nervous about it, Mr. Fitzwilliam. I'm just, high-strung.
Relax, Byron, and use plenty of suntan oil. Charles, is your cousin Thomas still footman at the Millers? And are they still in Bermuda? And is Mrs. Miller still chairman of the Symphony Association?
Yes, and yes.
Good. Then call. Yes, Miss Vicky. Lobster, certainly. I'll tell Pierre.
And there's something else, Fitzwilly.
No, Miss Vicky, I never thought of joining the Peace Corps. Now, how would Cousin Thomas feel if you called up and offered to take over for him for the afternoon?
Suspicious.
Must be some way to get you into the Miller house and him out.
Suppose I offer to work for Thomas today, if he'll work for me next week. The next week I'll say you won't allow the swap. He'll think he skunked me out of a day and be happy.
Hello, sir. Dunn speaking. I'm here with Mr. Alistair Charles, who has a letter from Saul Hurock. Gentlemen, this will introduce Mr. Alistair Charles, the manager of Signorina Donatella Frascati. It is. Because it isn't the first time I've had correspondence with him, that's why. I beg your pardon. Yes, at once.
My dear fellow, I'm not causing you problems, am I?
I shouldn't have lost my temper. But damn it, at my age, it's galling to be treated like a teenager. Mrs. Miller and Mr. Hurock.
Why not? The Miller's number, my memory.
I have it right here.
Plaza 79970.
Right. Thank you. Hello. Is this the Miller's residence? Well, this is Morton Dunn at Steinway & Sons. May I speak with Mrs. Miller?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dunn, but Madame is out with our house guest, Signorina Frascati.
May I ask who's speaking, please?
This is Thomas, the footman. Oh, yes, sir. Madame told me you'd be sending over.
Oh, that means you won't be able to oblige us because of that old poop.
Mr. Charles, I have Saul's letter, verification from Mrs. Miller, and my own judgment of character. Your little artiste has her piano.
Mr. Dunn, you're not the little man on my totem pole.
I'll give you the piano all our top concert pianists asked for. It's in the storeroom.
Oh, this one will be all right. Mr. Dunn, you're too good-hearted. You're letting me take too much of your time. Now, why don't I just go over to the Baldwin Company?
Oh, no. If the girl is what Saul says, she must have a Steinway. This Steinway. It'll be at the Miller's by 4 o'clock tomorrow.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tomorrow's too late. The girl must work today.
Mr. Charles, that's impossible. For us, for Baldwin, for any piano company in New York.
The secretary. I don't know how...
Kitty's one of our more gifted chatters.
Well, it's nice how friendly everyone is. They've been popping in and out all day. But I really would like to, when you bought it, why don't you just say so? That's standard butler practice, isn't it? At least in English novels it is.
And you haven't noticed that novels are filed under fiction?
I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to insult you.
Oh, it's marvelous what can be done without trying.
But you still haven't said why we can't return the Xerox.
Because It's a gift from a friend. Victoria Woodworth doesn't return gifts from friends for cash, strange as that may seem to you.
I've been put in my place.
That was my very bad-tempered intention. I apologize. Incidentally, if you'd like to check this with Miss Vicky...
Oh, it'll check. You have all the answers, Mr. Fitzwilliam.
...with the market about some very inferior apples. And now I've shown you to the door.
You must be exhausted.
No, I'll be fine. I'm planning a nice...
Mr. Fitzwilliam, the letter of condolence group is waiting for you. They didn't take Dolly at Gimbel, sir. Someone else will have to apply.
Byron Casey is calling, Mr. Fitzwilliam, from Florida.
Maybe he's got a hobby that fulfills him, like stamp collecting.
He gives away Bibles.
Gives away what?
Bibles. Miss Vicky told me. He picks out names from the obituary columns and he sends Bibles to the relatives. Writes a letter of comfort to go with each one.
I guess you could call that a hobby.
Dearly beloved, unbidden, unwanted, death has entered your door and left it ajar. No hyphen in a jar. We enter with a gift of love, comfort, to turn the evening of death into the glow of morning.
Oh, that's lovely.
Words from this stamped on the cover, as it is on your heart, the name of your loved one. If this gift tomorrow, C.R. Fitzwilliam, Pres, Serenity through the word. These today's answers?
Just the ones with the enclosure, sir.
Now, that's what I call a proper thank you note.
Oh, what Fitzwilly thinks. After all, it was his idea.
The dictionary was his idea, too?
Yes. He thought I needed a new interest in life after Father died, because hating Father had been my chief interest up to then, and I was lost without it. Anyway, from ant collecting to Zen Buddhism till he hit on the dictionary, and that got me interested in all sorts of things, such as living to be 100.
No wonder you're so fond of him.
I'm not fond of Fitzwilly. Back with Fitzwilly about the punches.
Right.
Come in. Oh, heads up, feet down. May I present the platypi? Jock Stewart the 5th, Carlton Taylor the 4th, Sandy Whitehead the 3rd, Tucky Morgan the 5th, Woody Van Alsten the 4th, and Bobby Merrick.
What, no number?
Old family, new first name. Platypi, may I present Miss Juliet Noel, Miss Vicky's new secretary.
Platypi, As in many platypuses?
We are the Platypus Troop, a manly and virtuous group, opposed to almost every sin.
Mademoiselle Juliette, vous êtes bien chic aujourd'hui.
Ah, merci, cher maître.
Mes enfants, venez. Venez en avant, nous allons faire les beefsteaks papillotés aux truffes.
Que vous êtes jolie.
Hamburgers with truffles for Cub Scouts?
Oh, yes. Miss Vicky won't approve the official Cub Scout rules. Like the one about helping old ladies across the street. She says that's the height of impertinence. So these are Sub Scouts, much more top drawer. They should be with me as their den mother. That's an honor I forced Miss Vicky to share as a way to get her outdoors.
Oh, she wanted me to ask what you think of my sending part of the...
Who can't spell, don't buy dictionaries.
Oh, I wish you'd found that out before you let her do all that work for nothing.
Oh, it wasn't for nothing. It was to keep her alive. Besides, there was no time for inquiries.
Do butlers always feel so responsible for their employers?
Oh, I wasn't the Woodworth butler then. My father was. Well, you have to start a new list. Butlers I have known.
Hello, Father. Listen, Cotty is still editor of University Press, isn't he?
Julie, you'll have to wait a minute. I'm working. You might have asked how my cold is.
Quink? You must be kidding.
Look it up.
Quink?
Learn a little something. By the way, have you been fired during the last week?
No. Why, have you had something?
Juliet, I'm back.
Hey. When I'm good and ready. I don't mind having a look at the old girl stuff. There's nothing to lose.
Juliet, Cotty's staying for dinner, so bring a couple of chapters home. Why do you have to tell the sinister butler about it?
Because it'll make him happy. And there's nothing sinister about Mr. Fitzwilliam, who could give you lessons in character. Probably Scrabble, too. Albert! Albert, I want a word with you, now. And please ask the gentleman to wait, in case Miss Woodworth wants to see him again. Give me whatever you took out of his pocket. I'm going to count to 3, and then I'm going to call the police. 1, 2...
Please, miss, it's for $20,000.
Did Miss Woodworth just give you a check for the old sailor's home?
Don't tell me she wants it back.
No, but perhaps you do. I found it in the hallway.
Well, that's funny. I could have sworn. Well, thank you very much.
Guilty party. So I just waited. And the next Sunday, the collection was almost 5. It was me. And I was improving.
But with you up in the pulpit and them down in the pews, how did you do it?
When I greeted them at the door and shook their hands.
Did you give the money back?
No, miss. I didn't want to shake anyone's faith in the ministry. So I just retired and went into domestic service. Miss Juliet, must you tell Miss Woodworth she'll be so unhappy?
Well, I guess I could tell Mr. Fitzwilliam instead. But he'll dismiss you.
It's no more than I deserve.
Albert, listen. If you promise to fight the urge every time you get it, just come to me and talk it out. Then I'm not going to tell anyone. It'll just be our secret, all right?
Oh, Miss Juliet.
The Arabian. Carry him. Store said no dollies. Don't want to draw any attention.
Sure. What do they care if you break your back? Wait a minute. I'll see what I can get.
What should we do with these?
Take him. It's neater. Miss Woodworth's residence.
Earlier, to have a good, old-fashioned, sunny Florida Christmas.
Byron.
William, the secretary saw me with it. She thought Miss Vicky would like it. Miss Vicky loved it. Mrs.
Byron? No, if you can't guess, I'm not going to tell you. Anyway, we're off to a flying start, and there's nothing, I repeat, nothing to worry about. So don't worry.
Mr. Fitzwilliam, with all due respect, if a week's been cut off, I don't see how we can finish the job.
Not with that girl here.
She'll have to go.
Even so, sir, do you think we can?
We can, and we will, but not by wasting a whole evening. Albert, by putting a larger group to work, we could triple this week's take from Serenity. You can have everybody except Garland and Charles and let's see, and Oliver. Thank you. A very nice girl. All right, gentlemen. I'll give you each $100, which you can easily raise to 5 by judicious use of the Samson and Delilah bit in the proper bars.
Hotels are best. There's always a Bible somewhere around.
Well, I like carrying my own. You see,
Miss Juliet.
I just thought I'd stop down before I went.
Oliver, you're in shirt sleeves.
So are you. And the sight isn't all that obscene.
Well, thank you, Miss Juliet. We were just trying on costumes for a ball.
Oh.
What you were saying?
What does the A&F stand for?
It stands for...
You were saying?
Oh, yes. I took a message from Miss Vicky. It was a Miss Ziffrin from the Gotham Home for Unwed Mothers wanting an appointment.
And did she get one?
Oh, yes. Noon tomorrow. I thought you'd like to know.
Yes, thank you. Consider it of you to bring us the message.
Oh, well, that's perfectly all.
Carry merchandise through the house. Open doors without even... It's funny. Something about it, a girl, bothered me.
Ooh! Who is it?
Garland. Oh, she'll be watching Albert from now on, sir.
Oh, some fella down there says it wasn't Delilah that cut off...
We're benighted fools.
I'll take another 5.
Bartender,
Well, it's somewhere in the Old Testament.
I have fallen among the godless. Judges, 6...
Okay. And Delilah called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of Samson's head.
Well, I'll be damned.
So undoubtedly will we all. Mailing, that should bring in about $800.
We're still a long way from what we lost.
Well, if Miss Vicky goes off with Mrs. Mudge tomorrow and the girl leaves, we're out of trouble.
Man is born to trouble as the sparks fly upward. Mrs. Mudge refuses to leave. She has a funeral and 2 weddings coming up, not to mention a bris and a contested divorce.
Well, damn and blast Mrs. Mudge.
Lord, forgive him.
Time for a drink, gentlemen? Don't worry, Albert. Yours is sought and locale. All isn't lost, children. I have an alternate plan. I'm going to ask the girl for a date. Now, that alone may do the trick, but if it doesn't, if she says yes, To use an expression I detest, I'm going to make a pass at her, and she'll quit at once, naturally.
Why? Are you kidding? Because he's a domestic, a servant. That washes you out with women, Oliver.
I don't approve of this.
Well, neither do I, Albert, but I have no choice. She is a lovely, lovely girl. Wish I could remember what disturbed me about her this afternoon. Yes, Miss Vicky?
Fitzwilly, Juliet thinks that being a butler is stifling you.
Well, Miss Juliet is entitled to her opinion, but to me, the job has excitement. I better make that pass before I get fired and become socially acceptable.
Z on a triple. 50 points.
All right, don't crow.
About him in print. Hello? Who? Oh, Mr. Fitzwilliam. This is a surprise. Well, I warned you, remember? Speaking to Miss Vicky about you was just my opening gun.
But you care about what I do.
I don't think you understand. My feelings about you aren't personal. It's, no, I haven't had dinner yet. Listen, could you hold on for just a minute? I think the coffee...
I've had dinner, and nothing's burning.
But he thinks that I'm interested in him. I mean, personally, don't you think I ought to straighten him out?
No, not now. Tomorrow on his time, not in the middle of a Scrabble game.
You're right. What's the hurry, right? Right. I'm back, Mr. Fitzwilliam. My address is, Oh, you do? Oh. No, thanks. I'll just meet you downstairs. In a half hour, right? Okay, bye. Now, what would you wear to dinner with a butler?
My pinstripe gray, I think.
Make me rainbow, make me spring in the snow, make me beautiful music.
I just had an interesting thought.
What?
Well, suppose you didn't really think that I'd go out with you. Suppose you just invited me to embarrass me.
Oh, I don't know. Anything you're deviant.
Straight ahead and to the right, honey. Cupid's on the door.
In the interest of better communication, perhaps we should adopt a common language.
Such as English, which I speak like a native.
Glad to oblige a good-looking doll. Come on, I'll give you the best table in the joint. The one that doesn't wobble.
You're a real doll. You just made a conquest, which isn't too surprising.
It is to me. I don't do too well with men as a rule.
Well, then there's something wrong with the men you've met.
Oh, I think what's wrong is with me. Shh, don't look at it. Fitzwilly, you're nice.
No, I can't. This is terrible.
What's so terrible? Well, and I want to talk to you about that.
Well, you can't.
Well, goodbye. Outrageous.
Yes, I know. You won't change your mind.
About quitting? Fitzwilly, you may not be a stinker, but boy, it sure worked out just as if you were.
All right, with Albert and Grimsby holding down the fort here, the rest of you stores throughout the area, and myself combing through the St. Dismas warehouse, at least half the Byron Casey job should be completed by tomorrow. Any questions? No, nothing. All right. Good luck. Good night. And my apologies to those of you who do Newark.
Never liked Julia. And I'm sure it was something you said or did that made her quit. What did you say or do?
I took her to dinner.
Aha! I'll stop it. Why did you ask her to dinner if you don't like her?
I'm not going to discuss it, Miss Vicky.
Good morning, folks. You got any idea how fast you were going?
Be quiet, officer. Fitzwilly, you'll discuss anything I...
Now, wait just a minute, folks.
I told you to be quiet, officer. And Claude Fitzwilliam, how dare you apologize for me? If I can't ask a simple question as to why you don't like my secretary...
I love your secretary, but I will not discuss it.
Must be not the cookie talk, huh?
If we exceeded the speed limit, officer, you have a right to give us a ticket. You have not the right to shout at us.
George, you haven't stopped eating all day. Go back to Miss Woodworth's before you get fat. The man's profession is his own business.
Oh, it is it?
Yes.
Okay. Let's say, just for the sake of argument, that I'm in love with him, and vice versa. Wouldn't that make it my business?
Well, the theory is that if you love someone enough, nothing else matters, so there's no problem. If anything matters, then you don't love them enough, and there's still no problem.
Well, if there's no problem, then how come I feel so unhappy?
Must be something wrong with the theory. Doesn't seem to include you.
Yes, it does. I'm going to go over to Miss Vicky's and tell Fitzwilly that if he wants to be a laundress, it's all right.
Many guards. 3 men dismantled the Abercrombie and Fitch exhibit and walked out with it. You know why no one stopped them? Because they each wore a white coverall with A&F on the back. That's all the plot there was. Now listen to what they took. 3 safari tents. Do you know how big they are? 2 life-sized figures of African tribesmen, 1 ditto white hunter, pots, pans, cots, vaults, campfire, along with a group of stuffed animals, including an African cousin of Smokey the Bear.
I see. So your Xerox machine number 24289...
Miss Juliet.
Life-size. Oh, don't strain. Grimsby let me in, by which I gather she isn't really part of this, den of thieves.
I beg your pardon.
Let's not waste time, Albert. Just tell me who gets robbed and how.
Miss Juliet, I think the world of you. But my loyalty is to Mr. Fitzwilliam.
And to no one higher. The bad headache which he got from answering my questions about Ali Baba and the 40 thieves. The others are still out thieving.
Would you answer a question?
Yes. No, I'm not going to the police.
Well, that wasn't the question, but why not?
Well, Albert swears that you haven't taken a dime from Miss Vicky.
She hasn't had a dime since I started all this. What about the people I have clipped?
Albert says it's mostly insurance companies who get hurt.
And you don't think that's stealing?
Listen, you just asked the question I said you could ask.
The question I wanted to ask was, why did you come back here?
Of course, if we're going to get married, you've got to stop being a crook. I mean, I'd like to have children, 3 or 4.
So, crooks have children.
Well, I don't think that's very nice. I mean, if every time you're late for dinner, I have to say, don't mind terribly not being a crook.
No, not really. But there are problems, like Byron Casey, Miss Vicky's future. You know, when her father died, she inherited exactly $180. I haven't been able to accumulate too much since then.
Oh, come on. I saw one day's take from that crazy Bible thing. And what about St. Dismas?
Well, quite a few of us, you know. Albert retrieves checks, and I always inspect the mail. But...
See, I told you you're going to hate me.
No, I don't. No, I don't. How much?
Sit down, Fitzwilly. For the Cancer Research Foundation. Some crook you are. Plotting, working the staff to the bone, and all for charity.
Well, the object wasn't to amass a fortune. It was just to support Miss Vicky in her customary style.
Fitzwilly, when you found out that she was penniless, why didn't you just tell her the truth and get a job and support her?
I was afraid the shock would be too much for her, and she was so frail and sickly.
She's strong as an ox now.
She's also very moral. Unlike certain people I know, she'd want to know what she's been living on. And she'd want me to pay it all back.
Well, that's out.
Miss Woodworth's residence, Fitzwilliam speaking. Yes, operator, I'll accept the charges.
Byron Casey from Florida. Collect.
Albert certainly covered everything, didn't he? Yes, Byron.
They hated Venice, so that's when they'll be home. And you know what's in this house so far?
There's a piano.
You're right.
Well, you have to admit it's a beautiful piano. And your silverware, glassware, and chinaware went out today. Plus 4 TV sets. Of course, color TV. Byron, please don't cry. Well, you know I'm not going to let you down. Just give me a minute to come up with something to tell the Appletons.
Oh, no, I can't face them. Not till every stick of furniture is in this house. I'll go into hiding. That's what I'll do. I'll hole up someplace till you give me the high sign. Goodbye, Mr.
50, so I can give him back exactly nothing. I don't know. Oh, I don't know.
Hey, wait a minute. You're not going to be a crook anymore, remember?
Juliet, my love, do you think you could sit still for one last caper?
No.
Even one that would take care of Byron and keep Miss Vicky in style for the rest of her natural? If I promise, it'll be the last. On my honor as a sub-scout in the platypus.
Okay, Lefty Louie. When's all this going to take place?
On the night before Christmas, when all large lumps of money are bouncing like... Think so.
Oh, with that bunch of blabbermouths you have around here? With Albert right in the palm of my hand?
It's been easy, sir. I don't want this on Miss Juliet's conscience, nor on yours, Mr. Fitzwilliam. For you to enter holy matrimony, red-handed as...
Why don't you just worry about your own conscience, Albert?
I don't have to, Charles. I've promised myself I shall be...
Good, then we can start. Miss Woodward's residence, Fitzwilliam speaking. Byron, where on earth have you been? Why didn't you call me?
I found the place to hide, Mr. Fitzwilliam. I'm at the Miami Doctors Hospital. I told $5,000.
Byron, please don't cry.
I want furniture.
As for what you lost before you came with us, there's the piano, the crystal, the china, the silverware. Now that should take up the slack. That's right. Good thinking, Byron. Now listen, you wait for my wire. Then you go to the Appletons, tell them the story, and I think then there'll be peace on earth all over Florida. Well, children, shall we get started? Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen, when the snow lay round about deep and...
Very funny.
Would you excuse us for a moment? Aren't you ashamed of yourself?
Come on, Fitzwilly, I want to help.
All right, then. Keep Miss Vicky busy tomorrow from 2 to 6. That's very important.
Big deal. She will be busy, you know it. Father and Cotty are coming for cocktails. And Grimsby will see that they stay upstairs.
But I'd feel so much better if you stay. Good night, darling.
Oh, wow. Sometimes you act just like a butler.
All right, children. The final review of our final project. Operation Get Out While You're Ahead. Our objective is the cash in the cashier's office on the 10th floor of Gimbel's. Tomorrow, December 24th at 5 p.m. By step. Merry Christmas.
You're a minute late.
I ran into an old friend.
Never mind the gift packet. Just give me a second.
I know, but never mind.
Security guard.
Where the television set?
I don't know. We're on a stack of Bibles.
Security, 10th floor.
Kind of a tile.
Oh, just a bunch of kids singing carols. And boys, take it easy. Smile, speak softly, remember our image.
Critic, there's a lot of money in the store.
Well, that's the object, Odeblatt, so be happy. Keep calm.
Hey, call Pritikin. Get help.
Not a well man.
Close up the vault and stop worrying. This is a traffic jam, not a robbery.
It's never a robbery until they rob. All the money is on 10th floor, and Albert is in position waiting. No.
You're going to rob Gimbal.
Oh.
Come, Platypie.
Quickly.
What is it? What is it?
Sorry.
Report to your department head, Scapper's in the employees' lounge. Emergency.
Oh, I'm out of the artiste, I hope. I just wanted to ask if I could have 2 tickets to her performance.
2?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn, you may have 4.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Merry Christmas.
Got a TV.
People, you simply must go. Sir, what are you doing? Mr. Oderblatt, I am Sidney Martin of Eastern Reinsurance Company. We are very disturbed about your situation. Oh, do you think I'm not? How does Eastern know about it? Who sent for you? I've been here all day. One of us always is when a heavy intake of cash is anticipated. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, no reason why you should. We're merely protecting our interest. You may have a riot brewing, Mr. Oderblatt, or a robbery. No. But that occurred to me. I called in for instructions. Good. What did they tell you to do? To remove from the premises all bills over the denomination of 10. Do you mean I'm supposed to just hand money to you? I can't. Of time would be your responsibility and not mine.
Mr. Oderblatt.
Now remember, when you hit the first floor, split up. Use separate exits. And if you get home... Children, the money is on its way to St. Dismas. And Byron's check is on its way to Florida. And here we all are. No, we're not. Where's Albert?
Gentlemen, I've confessed my crime, and I insist on my constitutional right to be arrested.
Where's the money?
How did you get those Eastern Reinsurance items?
I don't feel well.
I'm not buying that. Where'd you stash the stuff?
I've got to lie down. Really, I do.
Ryan, go for it. Get Oderblatt something to lie down on, and some aspirin for me. All right, quit stalling.
I'm guilty. Arrest me.
Not without notifying your next of kin.
I'm an orphan.
You're homeless too, I suppose.
I live at 168 Riverside Drive.
168. Now, wait a minute. That's the whole... Information, I'd like the number for Miss Victoria Woodworth, 168 Riverside
No,
Drive.
you mustn't call. You mustn't.
Oh, it's all right, Albert.
Hey, another one down.
But, Miss Vicky, what did your old man plan to do?
Turn it into a resort hotel. One country for hunting, one for golf, so on and so on.
Came pretty close, too. When we finish Chapter O, you'll see why it fizzled out. Gimbals. He went in and confessed.
That's crazy.
Why would he do that?
Well, I don't know. You can ask him yourself. Miss Vicky says that you're the only one who can get him to tell what he did with the money. She wants you to go with her to Gimbals right now.
I'll be punished for my sins now, and that's what I've always wanted. I'm a happy man, sir. Can't you see that?
I can't let you do it, Albert. Can't you see that?
But you must. It's my wedding gift to you and Miss Juliet.
Young man, haven't we met someplace? No, sir, we have, but have not. Now, listen, Albert.
He's not getting anywhere. Ellie, don't be such a stuffed shirt.
I'm sorry, Miss Vicky, but the DA's office can't ignore a crime just because it's a first offense. It's not like tennis, where the first serve doesn't count.
Yes, but what about the money?
Oh, lie down, Mr. Oderblatt. You're not a well man.
Oh.
Still, that might be just a boyish prank. On the other hand, your expulsion from Harvard seems to me to show a definite lack of character.
Dear Miss Vicky, even if I could be blackmailed, It wouldn't alter the situation. Gimbals has lost $190,000.
I beg your pardon, Miss Vicky. I meant, can't wait? I don't have any of your checks with me.
Countercheck. Countercheck. Countercheck.
Oh, don't worry about Albert. The charge will just be, what was it, Ellie?
Impersonation with intent to defraud.
And Ellie will tell the DA to suspend it.
Miss Vicky, I can't tell the DA. I can just advise him.
Ellie, I should hate your dear wife up in Coscop to know about the dancer your poor mother had to pay off.
Count it.
Fitzwilly, to Gimbals for $190,000. Juliet, I give you... Fitzwilly, dear, though you didn't say so, I know you were provoked with me at Gimbals for writing that check. He hates my dipping into capital. But this wasn't capital. It was new money I earned with the dictionary. So that makes it all right. Can't you show him?
Thinks it will be. They will undoubtedly make a sequel.
Anyway, Fitzwilly, dear, take charge of it.